But I grew up with somebody that was incapable of accountability. Everything was somebody else's fault. If he was going to change his behavior, everybody else had to change theirs first, because we were the real problem, and we were there to make his life more comfortable and to serve him because he's the patriarchal male, the head of the household, and it was all bullshit.
This came in a comment. Someone had talked about, I'm not quite sure what the video was, but a commenter had said, this is DARVO. And so I needed to look up, or DARVO. I needed to look more into what DARVO was. And so DARVO stands for Deny, Attack, Reverse Roles, Victim and Offender. And it was coined by a psychologist named Dr. Jennifer Freyed in the 90s. It's described as a pattern where somebody gets confronted about their behavior, and instead of staying with the issue, they take it as an attack, and then it somehow gets reversed back into the person who is just bringing up something to your attention. And it comes, I guess that would be insecurity-based, ego-based.
Yeah.
Do you recognize that in men that you've met and watching interactions? Or is that more of a man-woman? Do men do that with each other? Because I'm going to tell you, I lost a friend recently because of this exact thing.
Sure.
The non-accountability, and I feel it's cognitive dissonance. I don't think that she's not accountable. I think she literally cannot handle accountability. It's too hard, so it's easier to attack. And so I just have to leave those people there, because I don't want to dysregulate you, you know?
Yeah.
So what have you encountered DARVO?
The DARVO. The DARVO acronym is relatively new to me. I mean, it's been around since the 90s from what I hear, but I feel like it's kind of a buzzword on social media the last month or two is when I started hearing it. And so the actual acronym itself is new to me. But that behavior, I think, is as old as time. And I think all human beings are capable of it, you know? It's almost like a spectrum, you know? Like, I think men and women do it. I think anybody who is attacked, you know, is going to deny, well, no, you know? And then they're aggressive. Well, what about what you did, you know? And then I'm also a victim of the way you treat me. And that's just like basic conflict dynamics, I think. But it's a spectrum. There are people that have mastered it and do it every time they're confronted. Yeah.
Intentionally, they can do it, or they've just been conditioned, which I believe is that cognitive, like, that hurt my feelings too much. I can't even, you know, it's like, I don't know, an example would be, you know, I can't handle that information right now. And so I'm not gonna have it. But do you think that men are more susceptible to those behaviors than women?
Yeah, I would say so. You know, I think a
lot of women came out and saying men do this, like pitchforks. And I was like, wait a second. I think I've met more women than do this.
Oh, okay.
Do you think that it might be also like a narcissistic trait, or?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I read about it. That it's something that's very prevalent in narcissists, especially when it gets to a point where you're incapable of taking any accountability whatsoever, right? Like, I'm sure we blame other people or point out their faults when we have conflicts. That's pretty normal. But if you're someone that is doing this every time there's a conflict and you're incapable of taking any accountability and you turn into the victim, that's a real problem. There is no growth in that. I don't know. Do I think men do that more? I think men do, only because I feel like we struggle with accountability sometimes. We say we don't. We say women are the ones that struggle with accountability. But I think that when you look at it, then why are we so quick to be angry? Why are we so quick to anger? Because there's no accountability in anger. You know, we're the first to admit that we're not great with our emotions, that we suppress our emotions. We're taught to suppress our emotions, and there's no accountability in suppressing our emotions. You know, if the only emotion we display is like anger and resentment, and then there's no accountability in that, you know? So how can we say we're not the ones that display this behavior the most also? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I think men and women probably both do it a lot. honestly.
I definitely, I've heard of the mechanisms. I've seen the mechanisms happen, and it makes me think of kind of like the asking of the ladder.
Sure.
It's like, well, I changed the smoke detector. Wasn't that enough? And then now all of a sudden you're like, well, I thought we were talking about the ladder, but now I'm wondering why I'm even in here talking to you. And it's like, but I'm your wife. Like, I don't even want to be, you see what, what I mean? Like,
yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Do you think, most people recognize when they are reversing accountability during a conflict, or does it vary per person sometimes when you notice?
Oh boy, I think for someone that does it a lot, they probably have gotten good at it and recognize when they're reversing accountability. And there are some people that probably default to that in every conflict that they have. I grew up with a dad that, and he would agree with this, was almost incapable of accountability when I was younger. If I would point out something that he did that I wasn't happy about, or like it was deflect, deny, you misunderstood that, you're not remembering correctly, or here's why your behavior is the actual problem. It was never, oh wow, this is true what you're saying about me, I need to sit with this, and instead it's this big display of anger and outward, projecting onto me that I internalized, and it turned into shame because it now felt like it was my fault, And over the last 5 years, I've talked to him about, I'm going to bring some things up to you and I want you to own them. Mm-hmm. I'm tired of holding this fucking baggage for you.
Yeah.
You need to admit that what you did was fucked up and wrong and you were being selfish and it was not okay. And then close your mouth.
Yeah.
And not tell me why and your justifications. And he's doing therapy now. He talks to a therapist every week. And he is so much better with accountability now. But I grew up with somebody that was incapable of accountability. Everything was somebody else's fault. And if he was going to change his behavior, everybody else had to change theirs first, because we were the real problem. And we were there to make his life more comfortable and to serve him because he's the patriarchal male, the head of the household. And it was all bullshit. I mean, it was all bullshit. And I think that that is what a lot of men have modeled for them, that, like, I don't know, a wife and kids are there.
Yeah. It makes me think a lot of it's almost like it's disguised, because narcissism, it's not this. Narcissism has the whole, like, no empathy. They don't have any emotions. They can't put themselves in other people's situations.
Yeah.
But this part is the reversal is a very narcissistic trait. And I've always struggled for myself. And I kind of like to think that I'm on the spectrum of lots of things. Like, and I just, I'm on the spectrum of borderline. I'm on the spectrum of a little narcissism. And I'm like, but I know I'm not these things to one extreme or the other. And I'm just trying to find a balance. And I think my whole reason I'm bringing up the narcissism is because when I was looking at it, that's like the first thing that people like to say. And so they like to throw that word out. And it's a very heavy word that a lot of people would say that the patriarchy would be a narcissism type of thing. Masculinity is a narcissism, and it's absolutely not. I want to make that clear, because I think that some women who are quick to jump and say narcissist, it's just a coping tool of narcissism. But I think it's a coping tool of it. I mean, we're all narcissistic in some way without the mental diagnosis. And so I don't know. I wasn't. I see the attack, and I see how that, but I just don't think that it's a man only thing.
No.
And I wanted to make sure, because I'm not going to go into your comment section and say that, geez, Lou, they'd all come with pitchforks, but I'm going to say it on my podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that women definitely, when they are the first to go yelling out, your behavior is like this, it's like, where do I hold accountability? Because this person does not, even if you trigger your man, because he's easily triggered and he's not in his emotions, if you want to be a partner, you're going to have to help him. And so you have to learn
Yeah.
how to help that person and not just constantly. It's like, well, maybe my approach was wrong. Maybe if I hadn't made it sound like an attack,
Right.
Yeah. But
Second
anyway,
guessing.
that's kind of it.
Yeah.